Okay, so as I promised somebody on my Facebook page, and sorry, but I've completely forgotten who it was, going to show you how I'm going to paint up the clamshell on the Eduard's Rockin Rhinos Warlords Phantom F4 Phantom. Bottom was already pre-sprayed with Alclad matte white. Top was sprayed with the US gold grey. This morning I've already just given the clamshell a quick coat of Alclad 2 black primer and microfiller, and then a very light coat of gloss black base, just to give it a little bit of a ping. I used both of those simply because the primer fills in any little tiny gaps that are horrible. It works a little bit like Mr. Surfacer, and it's fantastic. Then we put the gloss black on just to give it a little tweak here and there. First thing you're going to need is one of these. You need a pipette with this stuff. If you try and tip this into the colour cup, it's going to go everywhere. So pipettes, I think it was $4.99 for 100. I just use them and bin them. They're that cheap. So there. Right, first one we're going to use is Alclad 103 dark aluminium. Now, the clamshell itself is steel, but I'm using the dark aluminium as a base coat, and then I can add the darker colours and tweak it up a little bit as we go. So give it a good shake. I always take the two prong off. When you're spraying really fine like this, you need to take, if you've got a two prong and you can take it off just to leave the point of the needle spare, so you can see exactly what you're doing. I find you get less splatter that way. So we'll give the aluminium a good shake. Pull it away. Just a little drop into the colour cup. We've got the compressor is set at just over 12 psi, so we're not spraying heavily. And check your flow. As you can see, always put the lid back on between filling the colour cup, because honestly the stuff is fantastic, but it's also like water. The one thing with this stuff is you don't spray it as you would normally spray your Tamayas, your Vallejos, your AKs, your live colours and so on. It needs to be stroked on rather than sprayed. So basically what you're doing is starting off and then going across it like you would an ordinary spray. There you go, that's one side. Not too heavy. And that's the other side of the fin. Get this one done quick. And you can see, sorry, compressor's just kicked in. You get a nice lustery metallic look to it. We're not pulling much of the paint is coming through at all, so you're just putting a very fine coat on. So there you go, as you can see, that's that part of the metal side of it done. Now the clamshell's a little bit different. You've got to be a little bit careful, obviously, because of the other paintwork involved. So what we're going to do now is just from a few inches away, just build it up, just to get the metal finish in what we want first. Just stroke it on as if you would a paintbrush. Don't go mad on it. It doesn't need to be heavy. Covers lovely. So there is no issues with coverage at all. So that's our first colour all on. I hope you can see the shine on that, or lack of shine, because this is dark aluminium. We don't want it too light. So right, something naughty I shouldn't do. Tip what's left back in the colour cup. Got away with that one. What we'll do now is just leave that to dry for 10 minutes, and then we'll come back once I've masked up a little bit more and we're ready for a different colour. Okay, so we've just masked up the tail planes. I've decided I'm going to do the actual clamshell in freehand. So going to give this a good shake. This is Alclad steel, so it's should be a little bit darker and give us a bit better finish. This is obviously used for the strengthening struts on the tail planes. I'll bring some of it into bear on the clamshell itself, and we'll go from there, but we'll see what happens. Just need another pipette, which we have ready. Not just a little drop. We don't need too much because we're not going to go mad. Keep the pipette just for a minute in case you need some more, but I wouldn't have thought so. Check the flow, looks great, and just gently over top of the original that we sprayed a few minutes ago. This is literally the time I took to turn the camera off and mask this up, which is literally 5-10 minutes. So it's very fast drying. Alclad is, and it covers lovely. I don't even know if you can see that. I don't know if I've recorded that right, but there you go. Anyway, that's the two tails done. Be a bit more done at them later. Right, biggest sin I should have done, put the lid back on, because again, as I said, it will play me up. It'll go everywhere. The next job is to pick out just a few, so get it through panels. Don't need to be perfect, because you're going to be weathering these down again. So we're just literally just picking off the odd panel just to make it look a little bit different. Then of course you've got the piece that holds the tail plane, which is steel, so I'll give that just a little bit extra. It's not easy. The only problem with these Academy kits that I find is that you have to put the undercarriage in, which makes life a little bit easier, a little bit more difficult, I should say. So again, just gently building it up. I'm no artist, can't use a paintbrush to save my life, so I do everything via the airbrush if I can. People are going to come back and say, oh, this is wrong, but it worked for me. So that's all good. And then to blend it in, just a quick touch across. That's that one that I wanted. Maybe just a quick one across there, just to break it up. So that it does metals are lovely things, and if you make them look right, they're fantastic. Right, steel, that can go back in. Blow what's left out of the airbrush, and a quick flush through. Right, she's now blown out. Right, now we'll come in with a little bit of stainless steel for a few more little edges and heat marks that are coming through. Give it a good shake, which we've done. Drop a little in the colour cup. Don't want a great deal. That pipette can be binned. Blow it through. And then pick out some more panels. The idea of this is really to give it a more heated look. Nothing more, to be honest. So that only goes where the exhaust nozzles are. So what you want is just that little bit of an effect. You're not looking to paint it, you're looking to give it just that little bit of an effect. So again, that's that one done. Just give the odd bit on the side just to make it look not too uniform, just used. I'm using the stainless steel. Also gives that burnt effect. Now what I did then was just to go quick sweep across, just to build up the effect. And it also puts the effect back in, blends it all in together. Okay, blow that out. Get rid of that one. Right, another pipette, and we'll go on now to a slightly darker colour of burnt iron. This is really just for the after the exhausts are on and you get that slight burnt effect go across. This won't be sprayed in anything directional, or sorry, any panel as such. It will just be blown across to just give the effect of grime, dirt, what have you. Right, so what we're going to do now is just blow it across. Please. Just give it that grimed up, but keeping all the work we've done there still in. Wasn't a lot. As you can see, you don't use a great deal because it's literally just blown on. You don't paint it as such. You allow the airbrush to do the work at a very low pressure, and she tends to build up nicely. Right, the next one, when I can find it, is to give it the heated a look, which is cobalt blue, candy cobalt blue, Alc 710. Love this colour. It's ideal for what we need. Again, this is just going to be blown lightly over to give that heated and grubby look. Next to nothing in the colour cup because we ain't going to need much. So you can see that it's quite blue, so we've got to be very careful. So we just want to in the direction of the airflow, just to give it that burnt effect. And that is how I do Alclads. May not be perfect, may not be right, who knows. As far as I'm concerned, it works. I love the paints, as you've probably noticed already. They've never let me down. The only thing that I would say is always spray them over a gloss black base. Don't use acrylics if you can help it, because it will eat into it unless it is left a long while to dry. But otherwise it'll just end up in a garbled mess like me. So I hope that helped you, and you can see what I did, and I'll put some photos up later of the finished clamshell with the engines in, and you can see where we go from there. Thank you very much.